Not yet.
Go ahead, babe. Count down to 10, okay?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Oh, wait,
4,
wait. Sorry.
3, 2,
It's okay.
1.
All
Let's
right.
play ball.
All right. Good job.
Great job, Thaddeus. Thank you for starting us off this morning. Thaddeus is here in honor of his mom, who passed away earlier this year. Thaddeus and many, many, many families who are greeted you this morning attend the Circle of Love for grieving children and teens. So let's give them a loud round of applause for being here this morning to honor their loved ones. Kind of makes us feel like a home run already, doesn't it? All right, if your back is to the stage, please, everyone turn your chair around, because we want to see all of the beautiful and handsome faces. A special hello to County Commissioner Harry Cohen, Representative Andrew Learned, Representative Michelle Rayner, and Representative Jackie Toledo. I am Gail Sirens-Martin, LifePath Hospice board member, Camp Circle of Love volunteer, which is, I can't even tell you how that is, and a longtime friend to this very important mission. We made it, you guys. After Hurricane Ian changed our plans, it makes us even all the more special to have all of you with us here today for Home Runs for Hospice. It's been quite a year. And I'm sure that all of you, all of us, have hearts that hurt for those affected by the hurricane, and at the same time, hearts full of gratitude for everyday, simple things in our life. And that is what the mission of LifePath Hospice really is all about, making every story count, every day count, every moment count. Look at the faces on these slides, on this collage that you see up there. These are the patients and the families of the mission of LifePath Hospice. Each one has an inspiring story of love found, chances taken, and dreams created. I see myself here too. In the top right corner, that's my mom and me, Miss Betty. Seeing this picture, so many stories come flooding back, memories that fill my heart. I imagine in a room this big, I am not the only one who has lost someone that they love, with hospice surrounding them. If hospice is part of your story, if someone you love has been touched by their care, I'm going to ask you to stand up right now so we can see you, share this with you. And now I'm going to cry. Because your presence this morning reminds us that we are all connected through our shared experiences of love, loss, healing, and hope. Go ahead, you can sit down. Look around this room, over half of you are standing. So you continue to make sure that their stories count. In all my years as a news anchor, there's one thing that I do know for sure. Hearing other people's stories make us brave. Listening to the story of another empowers us to keep going often and teaches us how to overcome obstacles, to love without limits. We've got a room full of you kind of people who love without limits here this morning. You see, stories are what our lives are made of. Stories of just how we remember people, and they can make us feel a little less alone in the world. LifePath Hospice is honored to be part of an end-of-life stories for 56% of all Hillsborough County residents who pass away each year. They change final chapters and help families' stories look much, much different. And this morning, you will hear stories of making each day count, of turning some daydreams into final wishes and heartache into hope. And I can't wait to hear from them, and neither can you. But first, let's recognize our wonderful home run sponsors. Please hold your applause, if you would, until everyone has been recognized. Our power hitter sponsor is Regions Bank. Our Grand Slam sponsors, Crosstown Couriers, Andrew and Amberly Molesky and family, PAR Inc., and the family of Gail Nursey. Gail was a beloved friend of LifePath Hospice, a member of Hospice Women of Philanthropy and the Home Runs Committee, and we miss her dearly. We also thank our major league sponsors, Besnard Insurance, CareSource, Casper's Company, Construction Technology Group, Robert Half Talent Solution, Symmetry, TD Bank, Vincent Law, Walk On Sports Bistro, and Well Sky. And our in-kind video sponsor, Diamond View. Thanks to all of our Triple Play sponsors for your generous support, and their names are listed right now on the screens. Let's give them a nice round of applause, please. But everyone in this room, all of our sponsors, everyone who's here with us this morning, you are all so very important to us. And one last thing for you, one last thank you to all our table captains, because you're the best storytellers and the most loyal friends. And this morning, some of our hospice families are going to share their most heartfelt stories. And I'm just going to say, get your Kleenex out, everybody. As eager as they are to share their journey, you can imagine that they are a little nervous about all of this too. So please, everyone, let's once again make sure our phones are silenced. Put aside any distractions you might have right now, and let's get ready to be inspired as we make every story count.
Thank you, Gail. Hi, my name is Kim Wolf. I'm a part of the leadership team here at LifePath Hospice. I was recently asked to tell my hospice story in just 6 words. My 6 words were, once fearful, then educated, now empowered. My grandmother was my person. I'm sure many of you can relate to that very sweet relationship. At the age of 15, we called hospice for my grandmother, and 3 days later, she passed. It left an impression upon me that hospice meant giving up. So when my mom was fighting a terminal illness recently, I decided that I was the one that would care for her. Doctors and my family wanted to call hospice, but I insisted I could do it myself. I wasn't ready for that quick goodbye that I thought hospice would usher in. It turned out to be one of the hardest years of my life, and unfortunately the hardest year of her life too. What I was giving out of pure love was falling significantly short of what she truly needed, and those memories still haunt me today. I stand here today as a humble, worn caregiver and share my biggest regret of my mom's last year was that I didn't call hospice. I now understand that calling hospice is not about giving up or giving in, but about empowerment. It's about giving loved ones time to truly live the rest of their lives with dignity and love. And it's about writing the rest of your story yourself. I wish I could go back in time and give these gifts to my mom, but I cannot. Instead, I give that gift to moms, dads, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, and children through my role at LifePath Hospice. That is my why behind the work I do each day with LifePath. Once fearful, then educated, now empowered. Just like me, 340 LifePath Hospice caregivers will follow their why and care for 1,175 patients every day. Dads like Mr. McCrae. At last year's event, we shared Mr. McCrae's remarkable story. Though reoccurring cancer robbed him his livelihood, his independence, and his home, he always made our hearts more full, our spirits lighter. When asked what he wished for the most, he said, for us to have the resources to care for other patients like him. Because of many of you in this room last year, his wish came true when James needed help. James woke up one morning with a nosebleed that led to a shocking diagnosis: head, neck, and brain cancer. At 42, a thriving business owner came face to face with the same disease that took his mother when he was only 12 years old. James lived in a trailer in a borrowed field, isolated, alone, and too far from the help that he needed. Unable to work and time moving too quickly, he thought he would die alone, in pain. But because of LifePath Hospice, James found a place to rest his head, comfort from his pain, a family when his could not visit, and when his spirit was weak, a chaplain to listen and ease his anxieties, all free of charge to James, but not free to LifePath Hospice. Over $2 million was spent last year for loved ones like James who had no way to pay for hospice care. An end of life is not the end of our mission. We also help children like Solana. Solana's dad died of a heart attack in their home just shy of his 40th birthday. That day, her heart broke in two. Tears would fall as she shared how she missed the little things, like telling him about her day. The Circle of Love Grief Center helped her manage emotions like anxiety, anger, and sadness. She is now finding ways to talk about her dad with joy instead of sorrow. It is staggering to know that 1 in 12 children will lose a parent or a sibling by the time they turn 18 years old. This is 38,000 children in Hillsborough County alone. This is why grief centers, an annual camp, and year-round support groups in the area schools are critical to our community. 3,400 adults and children will need us this year to provide free one-on-one grief care at the cost of $750,000. And the needs continue to grow. We are caring for 10% more patients than last year, a total of 1,175 patients each and every day. While basic patient care may be partially covered through Medicare or private insurance, there is always a gap between what we are reimbursed and what our patients truly need, what you would want for your loved ones. With healthcare costs continuing to rise rapidly, we are facing challenges like never before. The week of the hurricane, we ensured every patient had a place to ride out this storm, including our oxygen-dependent individuals. Our staff worked around the clock for 2 days, ensuring patients and their families had what they needed. And when lack of electricity and wind damages prevented a safe return home, patients stayed at our hospice houses. But we can't forget that a personal storm is brewing for 1,175 families each day in our community, maybe somebody you care about. The total cost of charity care and grief support is an investment of over $3 million, and it is worth every penny for people like Mr. McCrae, James, and Solana, and the thousands of others who depend on us each year. Love and loss, healing and hope. If we are lucky enough to love, this becomes a season of our life. Though we can't choose just happy stories in our lives, honesty and vulnerability is where the best stories lie. Thank you for letting me tell my true story. My mom would be happy to know that her story has meaning and purpose.
My name is Gabriella Cherry. Who passed away was my dad. He would be the one to make everybody come together, have cookouts and all these fun things. I got in the car from school and I saw my mom crying. He passed away from COVID, and when she told me that he passed away and she was crying in the car, I was like, I know what happened. I have to be strong, I have to stay strong and help her.
Rossi Cherry was a wild card. He was a wild card. He made you laugh. He was a good father to my children. Whatever they need, if I couldn't provide it, he would come through for them. He was a good guy.
My name is Maya. My dad, he got in a car crash.
Great person. We got married in New Jersey. As soon as Maya was born, he cried like a baby. The day of the ceremony, he cried. I can't tell you how many times he's made me smile and laugh because he did everything, every single thing. And I got a knock on the door at 5 o'clock in the morning. He said, "Do you know Roberto Echevarria?" And I said, "That's my husband." And he said, "He's gone." And I said, "Where?" He was in a car accident. He didn't make it. And to tell you the truth, I don't know what happened after that. Ever since then, I haven't been the same, and I won't ever.
My name is Christian.
Great, so can you tell me who passed away?
My mom. We used to watch movies together while Dad was at work. We used to laugh a lot.
She was a great person, and she just really cared about people a lot. She loved her kids, and she was a great wife. It was a Saturday night. All of a sudden, she came downstairs. She was just in panic. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't breathe. She went into cardiac arrest. Her heart just stopped, but she never responded to the treatment. Life has changed dramatically. When I used to take them to the park, I used to see, single parents with their kids there, and I would just think in my head silently, like, how do they do it? And now that I'm in their shoes, it's not easy. The pain that you feel, I tell people, it's like if somebody came and just yanked a piece of your heart out. I mean, just like ripped it out of your heart. Because even now, I don't know how long, I still, there's still a piece of me missing.
Because it's a different kind of grief. You're grieving as a parent, as an adult, that's one thing. But when you're grieving because it's something that you can't put a Band-Aid on, you can't fix, you can't stop your kids from crying, you can't heal their hearts, that's a whole different type of pain as a parent you don't want to deal with. Camp Circle of Love is life-changing. And I say life-changing because it's not only about the fun. You get to meet new people who are going through it. My kids is grieving, but yet there's other kids that are grieving too. There's other kids that's lost a parent. There's other kids that are going through their emotional pain. We were separated in order for us to express how we feel and do our own workshops and our own activity. We were able to use different coping mechanisms. And then us, just as the parents, just to be able to talk and see what mechanism works for each other. They're there to support you.
We made this pot. I got to break something, like it's me breaking a glass when I'm mad, and put it back together. It felt actually good, but actually sad, because the good part was I actually got to break something, and the sad part is it's breaking my heart, because I'm here for somebody who passed away that really meant the world to me.
It was just meeting so many people and, just sharing your story. I mean, everybody's stories were different. And then you turn around and tell yourself, guess what? You're not the only one. Everybody hurts. And out of the 6 months that my husband left, that was one of the best days that I've had with this grief. And every time I go to the Circle of Love every 2 weeks, it just feels better when you're sitting by somebody that's lost somebody recently too.
I learned that most times when you wish for him to come back, he's here, but he's not here when you actually get to see him in person.
The grief camp was amazing. Breaking the pot felt like a relief, because sometimes you bottle everything in. Once you put it together, it's not perfect. It's not like when you originally got the pot, it's one whole thing. It's broken, but at least you're trying to put the pieces together.
We have all often heard, enjoy the little things. For one day, you may look back and realize that they were the big things. For me, that motto has never been more truer. Hi, my name is Couture Rodriguez, and I lost my husband, Fernando, on June 15th of last year. In a lot of ways, I'm still getting to know him. The stories that I hear from friends and coworkers highlight what a difference he made with people. Fernando was truly a knight in shining armor, and I have been so blessed to have been loved by someone who was so beloved. We met at Tampa Airport Marriott, where we both worked. His positivity, generosity, kindness made him a favorite among staff and management. Anything he would do to help, or could do to help, he would do it. People share memories of him with the kind of emotion you feel when something truly touched your heart. It was just his way, and I'm still inspired by his selflessness. We dated for 5 years before getting married in a small ceremony at church. For 8 years, Fernando and I built the kind of life that was easy to take for granted. We had 2 beautiful children, Fernando Jr. and Elin. He was as good as being a father as he was at everything else. His patience and wisdom and deep faith kept the peace in our family as it flourished. Weekends at Siesta Key and Sundays in church, little everyday miracles like surprising us with an amazing dinner. He did it all and made it look so easy. He was on his way home from work when a car accident claimed his life. He had a seizure while driving and lost control of the vehicle. The car smashed into a barrier and burst into flames. Friends drove past him, past the wreckage that morning without knowing that it was him. I saw the accident on television and never imagined that it was Fernando. I had no idea until the police showed up and knocked on my door. He was gone, and somehow I knew it before they even said a word. It's cliche to say that you don't know how much a person does for you until they're gone. But I was overwhelmed by just how much I had to figure out after he passed. I tried to mow the lawn, and I couldn't get the lawnmower started. I couldn't remember names and accounts and passwords to my mortgage or my utilities. I was starting over at square one, alone, brokenhearted, with 2 equally crushed children and a household to run all by myself. I soon learned that no one grieves alone and no one heals alone. When I reached out to Circle of Love for grief support, I did it initially for my son, Fernando. The reminders of his father were everywhere. Men in baseball caps, the sound of the lawnmower when it got started. It was so many little triggers for him. I couldn't make him understand that Daddy was never coming back home. The grief counselors knew the struggles my children were facing all too well. And like so many parents that lose their partner, as I started seeking help for my children, I found help for myself as well. Circle of Love has given us a place to grieve in healthy ways that my sons can understand. Fernando lights up when he knows we're going to the building. The services that LifePath Hospice offers to me and families like me, the grief camp, one-on-one counseling, and group therapy are helping us put our lives back together. At Family Grief Camp, we were able to tangibly experience that grief through the Beauty is Broken activity. We took a beautiful clay pot representing our family before Fernando's death, and we dropped it to the ground where it shattered to pieces, just like our hearts after Fernando's death. The grief counselors asked us to decorate the pots with memories of our loved ones and then glue it back together to remember there could still be beauty in the broken. As you can see, my pot is a little lopsided and still needs work, but it's a great reminder that there's no end to this journey. Grief is a winding road. There's days that feel like an uphill climb and others seem easier. It teaches me that life can be hard and beautiful in the same moment, and that's okay. At 3, Elon doesn't know what's ahead without his dad. But when he starts asking questions and I see his heart is hurting, I know who to call, I know where to go, and I know I will find the love and support he needs to heal his little heart. And it's going to take a long time to get to a good place, but with LifePath helping us get to a better place, LifePath is helping us get to a better place day by day. Thank you for this circle of love and for me and my boys. Thank you.
You can't look forward and backward at the same time. You have to choose to be happy. This is what losing my husband to cancer 8 months ago has taught me. Hi, my name is Dee Tucker Wallace. My husband Seth and I met when we were in 9th grade. Our romance blossomed in high school as he would pass me notes in Spanish class. If I close my eyes, I can still picture our first date at Six Flags like it was yesterday. We married in 1996, and when our little family grew to include our 2 sons, Avery and Hunter, he started a landscaping business to have more time for family. He grocery shopped, cooked, and carted the boys to and from soccer practice. He had a knack for making life easier. Seth was the kind of guy that made you want to be a better person. He would quietly buy a veteran's lunch or drop off dinner for the homeless. His heart was as big as his love for life. In December of 2020, our fairy tale started to unravel. Suspected kidney stones turned out to be kidney cancer. A successful surgery gave us hope, but another x-ray showed a tumor in his arm. Cancer became a part of our daily routine. Doctor's appointments, immunotherapy, radiation, sickness, and the mental strain of worrying what news you'll get at the next appointment. It all took its toll. To keep his spirits up, I made positive affirmations for Seth to read when he brushed his teeth every day. I am a good person. I am loved by God. I am loved by my family. I will fight for my life. I will beat cancer. I am strong. These words helped us steady our souls. Seth's oncologist described his cancer's progression like a sinking ship, telling us at this point, you're just plugging holes. We were left with 2 options. 1, undergo life-threatening surgery, or 2, call hospice and make the most of our days. We opted for number 2 to enjoy the days we had left together. When hospice came to our home, I had someone to help me care for Seth. A team of doctors, nurses, social workers, home health aides, and even a bereavement counselor by our side. I had been holding my breath for so long, and hospice allowed me to finally breathe. While Seth and I could unpack the reality ahead for us, my 17-year-old son, Hunter, could not. He was mad at the world that his dad, at only 48 years old, was dying, and I did not have the tools to help him. LifePath Hospice sent Brittany, a counselor who could help my angry teenage boy make sense of this new reality. With the medical team taking care of Seth and Brittany helping Hunter, Seth and I could have those deep conversations most couples avoid. How to die well, how to move forward without him. We had long talks about his wishes for the boys' futures. He taught me how to pay the bills. He told me how to sell his lawn equipment. In his last days, when his pain was unbearable, LifePath Hospice offered to move us to the hospice house, a place for Seth to find comfort and settle his anxiety. I was able to stay there too. The hospice house felt like home. Everyone there made us feel like we were there. They were there just for us. I did not leave Seth's side, and they did not leave mine. Cancer wants more than your health, more than your peace. Cancer wants to be the only thing that anyone remembers about you, and I refuse to have that be Seth's legacy. So on Easter, Avery, Hunter, and I took pictures on the steps of the church where Seth and I were married. On his birthday, we went out with family, friends, and talked about favorite memories. On our 26th wedding anniversary, my sons took me to dinner and we reminisced about family trips. Some days are harder than others, like the day I turned off his cell phone, the day I canceled his driver's license, the days I talked to Brittany about what life is like now so she can help Hunter through his grief, preparing the house for Hurricane Ian alone. Even today, being here to share his life with all of you. Our pain is real because true love exists. The two emotions are intertwined, but with LifePath Hospice, I'm learning the beauty and balance in both. A lifetime spent loved by someone like Seth gives you courage that somehow we are all going to be okay. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Boy, it's quiet in here. Good evening, good morning, everybody. Oh my God, I sounded like that guy from Pennsylvania. Good evening. No. Hello, I'm Bob Canigliaro, and I'm gonna kind of turn things around a little bit. This is a ballpark theme. I see tissues out. People have been drawn and compelled to tears because of what LifePath Hospice has done to help these people. Well, the stories are compelling, a lot of grief, a lot of recovery, but it's time to raise the spirits and hope and to validate why you are here today and to make you feel good about yourself and what you do. I'm the Vice President of Community Relations for Casper's company. Well, actually, formally, I retired on Monday. Thank you. 47-year gig. It was best time of my life. Anyway, and I've been a longtime supporter of LifePath Hospice. There seems to be a theme this morning of stories that are missing the main character, a mom or a dad taken way too soon. You may remember, if you were here last year, I too lost my dad, a decorated World War II veteran, affectionately known as Sergeant Lucky. Toward the end of my dad's battle with cancer, LifePath Hospice was invited into our family. At the time, they were strangers to me. I didn't know who these people were. I had no concept of who hospice was, but they treated my dad like he was their only patient. They also knew what my family was going through before we ever saw it coming. I often think about the life lessons my dad taught me. Lessons like, as you think, so it becomes. Never back down when you believe you're right, and treat others with dignity and respect. My dad also taught me about love. He said, love builds the kind of legacy you want to leave. When we give unconditionally, with no expectation of return, it's the purest form of love we can offer and receive. It's a great metaphor of how I have seen the work of LifePath Hospice firsthand. They love my dad unconditionally with no expectations. They love 7,000 patients with rest of life care each year. and they love 3,400 individuals left behind with broken hearts with free grief counseling. And when someone you love needs them, they'll be there too. And in the beginning of this, it was a little off script, but Gail asked those to stand up that have been impacted by LifePath Hospice. It helped them at a very crucial time in their life. That means the other half of you fall in the category of a song from 1973. From the balladeer of the time, and I'm old enough to remember him vividly, Bob Dylan. And he had a song that applies to all of us here. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Remember that song? Well, for all of us, that song is going to come to play. Not only for us sitting here, but for the people that we love. And that's why LifePath Hospice exists. And that's why I'm asking you to consider an investment in the lives of the ones like Dee and Keturah, James and Mr. McCrae, Christian, Maya, and Gabriella. And because of the generosity of our sponsors, they have covered all of our breakfast expenses this morning. That means 100% of your gift today will go straight to the mission. I realize, yeah, that's a big deal. But wait, there's more. I realize it may not be the easiest time to give right now. We're all feeling that pinch at the gas pump, the grocery store checkout, and your investments may be a tad down. But I assure you, few are feeling it more than our families. Hardworking people who unexpectedly went from 2 paychecks to 1, when on top of economic stressors, feel broken by the loss of their husbands or wives, mothers or fathers, brothers or sisters. Believe me, we wouldn't be asking if the need wasn't so great. So when we looked at what we wanted to ask you for, we decided to request what we really need the most: financial support for our day-to-day operations. There is no end to our financial needs because there is no end to those in need of care. So we hope you will consider becoming a LifePath sustainer. Sustainers pledge their support for 5 years, allowing us to provide much needed support year after year. We have some sustainers in the room today wearing a purple ribbon on their name tag. Sustainers, will you please stand so we can applaud you? You are helping patients and grieving hearts tell their story in their own words. When cancer has taken their livelihood and there is no place to turn, in cleansing tears at grief therapy, in hope found at the Circle of Love Grief Center. Thank you. All right, you ready? Another announcement. I have a very exciting announcement to make this morning. To encourage you, a group of our very close friends have come together to match dollar for dollar every new Sustainer Society pledge up to $106,000. Now that's a pretty good return on your investment right there. And, so we're going to recognize who those peeps are. Ann Allen, Kathy and Bob Smith, Danelda Gallagly, Rick Baldwin, Adam and Mindy Besnard, the Boost family, Kim Brannon, Tom and Diana Cornett, Dave Finkel, Mitchell Rushing Family Foundation, Betty Plott, Mary Pond and Ed Gunning, and Patty Chirac. These people are amazing, and let's give them a round of applause. So if you choose to join us as a new sustainer today, your gift will be doubled this morning. If you're a current sustainer, we ask you to consider adding a year or more to your existing pledge, increasing your giving level, or making an additional one-time gift. Your extensions and increases will also be matched dollar for dollar up to $106,000 thanks to the generosity of those match supporters. Now I'd like to ask the table captains to please pass out the pledge cards. And if you are watching virtually, please click the link in the chat box right there. All right, everybody, shake those riding hands. Get ready, crack those knuckles. I'm gonna walk you through this. Starting at the top of the form, we have the sustainer circle. These gifts will go toward the greatest and most urgent need. The first level, which we call benefactor, is a pledge of $1,000 each year for 5 years. That's just $83 a month. On a daily basis, that's less than the price of a latte for over the course of a month. But for that same $1,000, you can help 5 grieving children like Christian, Maya, and Gabriella, who you met in the video, receive free counseling. If you can give at this level, please check that box. Next is the advocate level. This is a pledge of $5,000 each year for 5 years. This helps support 10 patient days in a hospice house for those without funding, dads like James and Mr. McCrae, ensuring his wish that we can help the next guy like him. Please check this box if you'd like to give at the advocate level. Now, some of you may be in a position to give more. We ask you to consider a gift of $10,000 each year for 5 years. We call this the champion level. This amazing gift can help support 66 patient days for anyone without resources to pay for hospice care. If you can make a gift at this level, please check that box. Remember, all the sustainer gifts will be matched dollar for dollar up to $106,000. If you're a current member of the Sustainer Circle, there's a special section on the pledge form where you may increase the amount of your existing pledge if you care to do so, or extend the duration of your current pledge by a year or more. You could also choose to make an additional one-time gift or make a pledge payment. Remember, gift extensions or gift increases will also be matched. If you have just become a sustainer, extended or increased your current sustainer pledge, I sincerely thank you. Now, we know and respect that many of you want to give at a different level. What's appropriate for you? The next line on the pledge card, we made that one just for you. Please let us know how much you'd like to give and for how long. Please know that every gift makes a difference in someone's story. I'll give you a few minutes to complete your pledge form. I can see that we have a lot of business professionals in here today, and you are just so damn efficient. You don't need a few minutes. You have got them filled out already, so I'm going to just give you that 1 minute. And I know some of you may still be writing, but if I could have your attention for just a moment, it's important that you really hear what I'm about to say. Whatever gift you may choose to make today, we sincerely thank each and every one of you on behalf of the patients, the families, and the children that we serve. Every single gift makes a difference in the life of a spouse, a child, a mom, a dad, a sibling, as they face one of the most difficult times in their life. I'll give you a moment or two to finish those pledge cards. And when you're done, place the pledge card in the envelope and place your pledge form in your private envelope and pass them back to your table captain. If you're joining us online today, please complete your gift form and press that red button that says click to pledge your financial support. I'm supposed to be observing now. Yep, I'm observing. And it looks like you guys are pretty good. This isn't your first ball game, is it? Many of you have been here and have been supporting this organization for a long time. You're awesome. This is the largest gathering that this organization has ever put together for this event. The people at LifePath Hospice are absolutely amazing. And I'm thinking next year they just might need a bigger room. Thank you all so much for your kindness and compassion. And I'll turn it over to whom will always be my favorite anchor, Gail Sarens. I'm not leaving without a hug.
Oh, you're awesome. He's the most fun guy in the room, I'm just going to say. Okay, well, how are we all doing right now? It's a pretty special morning we're sharing here together, isn't it? And Bob, thank you for all you always do. All of these stories remind us that no one else sees the world the way you do, so no one else can tell the stories that you have to tell. I certainly hope that today has inspired you to write your next chapter with intention and love. Thank you for being here and have a great day, everybody.